Nigeria remains a strategic partner to any country desirous to join its transformative journey towards prosperity. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohamed Idris singled out France as an improvement partner to Nigeria when he granted audience to the France ambassador and ECOWAS Marc von Bostier. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports on the minister's engagements.
In performing its strategic role as the custodian of the renewed hope agenda, many equally acknowledged the ministry's role as pivotal as the gateway in achieving the transformative agenda. The familiarization visit by the French ambassador to Nigeria to this strategic ministry provided an opportunity to refresh minds on how to ensure speedy follow-up and implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding between France and Nigeria during President Tinubu's state visit to France.
The two presidents have set up together an ambitious roadmap so that we can scale up the partnership. And in that regard, communication, information is a core issue, where France can provide, hopefully, some support, some capabilities, some know-how.
That Nigeria is indeed very serious about all those MOUs that were signed. And we will ensure that all of them are executed to the letter. Also, thank you for extending this invitation to the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, and to me particularly, to participate in the Nigerian Business Forum that is going to happen on the 10th of April 2025 in Paris. We will use that platform also to extend the best wishes of the Nigerian people and Nigerian government, but also to take the message of consolidation that the President is desirous for us to give in this year. This year, 2025, is the year of economic and social consolidation of the Nigerian nation, as promised by Mr. President. And our economy, as we have heard severally, is already beginning to turn the corner.
Meanwhile, the minister also played host to leaders of the All Progressives Congress 11th year anniversary and 2nd year anniversary committee. Here, the government spokesperson acknowledged that political party activities should be a collective one and not for those occupying public offices alone, especially now that the government of renewed hope is working towards enduring economic prosperity.
So much has happened in the last 11 years. Of course, there are a lot of ups and downs, as you can find with every political arrangement and with every reformist administration. I know that reforms are not easy anywhere. And for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have taken this challenge of reform, he could easily have taken the easy way out, but he chose not to. He chose to take the difficult but more assured way of bringing Nigeria back on the foot of sustainable prosperity.
But I think President Bola Tinubu is doing his best and will continue to support him. That's why we wanted to come in and enlighten Nigerians on his achievement for 2 years.
In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Now, in other news, Minister of Women Affairs Iman Suleiman Ibrahim has promised to broker peace between the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The minister made the commitments while addressing State House correspondents at the periodic briefing organized by the presidential media team called Meet the Press. State House correspondent Musbah Al-Muhab reports.
Our intention is to ensure that we empower women so that we can contribute significantly to the $1 trillion goal.
Turn of the Women Affairs Minister to meet State House correspondents. It is on the occasion of the International Women's Day, and it's been 30 years since Beijing Declaration asking for 35% affirmative action, and 20 years after the Maputo Protocol came into effect calling for the right of women on the continent. But then, the clamor remains a distant score at federal and state levels in Nigeria. And now, the Women Affairs Minister is considering a different approach to attaining the objectives.
But times are gone where you bully people to give you things. The last time we took the gender bill to the National Assembly, we blocked the gate. There's 3 entrances to the National Assembly. When you block one, they're going to use the other 2. So this time around, we're going to do it differently. We'll do it in a very responsible manner. We'll mentor women so that when they get there, they also are able to serve and, open doors for other more women to come into the space.
Highlighting various economic empowerment programs being carried out and to be intensified by the government of the day, the minister says the administration is taking more intentional steps towards improving women's access to finance, addressing gender-based violence and female genital mutilation. In addition, she promises to intensify mentoring and advocacy to further strengthen women's capacity in preparing them for greater public responsibilities.
And we're also looking at a leadership, academy or leadership institute whereby women are being trained and mentored properly by industry experts on how they can be able to. So those are the different initiatives. And I also like to use this opportunity to thank Her Excellency, the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Her renewed initiative has played a major role in empowering women and families and the vulnerable people across Nigeria. We would like to also support in the areas of the Every Home or Garden. It's a budget line in our budget.
And coincidentally too, at the time of one of the talks of the town, a gender-based back and forth in the Senate, Senator Natasha, now suspended, and the long-standing clamor for an improved women representation, particularly in political offices, is receiving a setback. But here, she promises a timely intervention.
In the last assembly, we had 9 senators that are women. This assembly, we have 4. We don't want to be losing any member in the Senate or in the House. We want to increase the numbers. It's unfortunate we're going to be brokering peace. We engage all the stakeholders to ensure that they temper justice with mercy for peace to reign, and then we'll continue to also sensitize so that we learn to work better together as women and men. Thank you.
Thank you.
From the State House, Musbah Ben Wahab, NT News.
Accelerate action. The theme for this year's Women's International Day emphasizes the need for increased action. It's unlocking equal rights, power and opportunities for all women and girls, with a focus on achieving a future where no one is left behind. The National Council for Women's Societies is amplifying this as the world commemorates this year's events. Mumso Damien Dati has details.
This is how it is anytime women come together for a good reason. For the NCWS, this year is memorable, considering the notable achievements made nationally and globally.
This year's global theme, Accelerate Action, is a call to action for all stakeholders to intensify efforts towards achieving gender equality and empowering women and girls. We must remind ourselves of the significant progress made towards gender equality in Nigeria.
However, there are challenges to be tackled.
Burden of caregiving responsibilities, increased vulnerability to gender-based violence, and underrepresentation in leadership positions. We must accelerate action towards achieving gender equality. We are empowering women, and there's nothing greater than that. We must support one another. Keep the flag flying, to keep moving, to keep working, to keep striving hard.
To crown this year's event, Nigeria's First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu gave a surprise celebration gift to the NCWS. And to reciprocate the gesture, the NCWS distributed empowerment packages to boost small-scale businesses of some selected women in the FCT. Mumso Damien Dati, NT News.
Still on women matters, Senate is working with relevant stakeholders to have in place legislations that would remove barriers for women participation in parliament and other arms of government. This position was amplified at a special event organized by the Senate leadership to mark this year's International Women's Day. The Minister of Women Affairs was among dignitaries at the event. The presence of the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, flanked by his deputy, Barrow Jibrin, and the Senate leader, Kweyemi Bamidele, the women said, is a testament that they are he-for-she advocates, and also appreciated the role of the National Assembly in the 1,000% increase of budgetary allocation to the Women Affairs Ministry for 2025.
In Nigeria, we have over 10 MDs of banks that are women. No country can boast of that. And looking at the progress of women encourages us to do more. So I like to see things positively. We've done so well and will continue to intensify effort to ensure that those seats we're looking for do happen.
Akpabio informed the gathering that the legislature is taking steps to expedite action on all gender parity issues, starting with the 35% affirmative action.
I don't want to vote for a woman. Am I the one that will force the woman to go? But we have a solution. I've traveled around. I've seen what is happening in Tanzania. I've seen what is happening in South Africa, Malawi, and so many other countries. They have a certain percentage constitutionally reserved for women.
The National Assembly reassures that gender equality is a priority in the ongoing constitution review process, in continuation of the legislative process to amend the Raw Materials Research and Development Council Act. The Senate Committee on Science and Technology engaged stakeholders. This is to ensure processing of raw materials in Nigeria before export.
We will reduce dependence on foreign exchange because every raw material that is in Nigeria must be utilized in Nigeria.
We must ask ourselves, do we continue on this trajectory of economic servitude, or do we take bold and decisive steps towards reclaiming our industrial sovereignty?
The Director General of the Council believes the legislation will stop exportation of wealth and jobs to other countries. From the National Assembly, the Nigeria Immigration Service is training its personnel on the newly introduced e-visa process, a system designed to enhance efficiency. Comptroller General of Immigration, Kemi Namdap, says the initiative will streamline visa processing and improve service delivery.
This system is really a departure from what we had initially, to enhance our efficiency and to make sure that we improve, of course, on our processes, the transparency and the strength of what we do.
For the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunjiojo, the 162 officers undergoing the training have a crucial role to balance economic openness with national security.
We want to be able to open our borders for economic participation, for tourism, and for all short-stay visas. Let's open our borders, let's allow people to come, but let's not do that by compromising national security.
The training aims to equip officers with the skills needed to implement the new system effectively, and authorities say the e-visa process is part of broader reforms to modernize the country's immigration services. Now, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Musa Dengiwa, says the ongoing Renewed Hope housing projects across the 12 states of the Federation are scheduled to be completed for inauguration in May this year. The minister, who gave the assurance while inspecting the 2,500 housing units in Kano, expressed satisfaction with the progress of work. Samira Hamisu Shira reports.
New Hope Housing Initiative is a public-private partnership that intends to provide 1,000 houses in each of the 7 geopolitical zones of the country, and Renewed Hope Housing Estate in 30 states of Nigeria. Kano and Lagos are pioneer states to benefit from the initiative, with over 1,500 housing units scheme. This is aimed at bridging the housing deficit in Nigeria, particularly among low and middle income earners. To achieve the objective, therefore, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, accompanied by the Minister of State Yusuf Abdullahi Atta, undertook an inspection of the Renewed Hope Housing City at Lambu in Tofa local government area of Kano State, which are at various stages of completion. The Minister, Ahmed Musa Dengiwa, commended the contractors and urged them to maintain high standards, saying the ministry will not hesitate to revoke the approval of those operating at a slow phase and reject substandard work.
We are fully encouraged with the number of workmen and the workforce they are putting in place, and we are encouraged about the quality of work that is ongoing. And we are encouraging them to ensure that within the next 2-3 months, this site will be ready for commissioning. And we urge the contractors to ensure that they maintain good quality of work.
Minister Dengiwa also revealed the federal government's plan to construct renewed hope social housing in all 774 local government areas across the country. From Kano, Samira Hamisu, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News. We pause now for a break. Do stay.
It makes sense.
I didn't come here, please, sorry.
Calm down. I go pay.
By Maggie. Me and Maggie. So good together.
Towards addressing Nigeria's energy challenge and enhancing livelihood of rural communities in the country, the federal government has inaugurated a 440 kilowatts power solar hybrid mini-grid project in Cross River State. Ode Alenyo reports that 4 communities are beneficiaries of the federal government's gesture in collaboration with the European Union and the German governments.
For these 4 benefiting communities in a Tung local government area of Cross River State, it is a new dawn as life will no longer remain the same again with the inauguration of the solar hybrid mini-grid project as they promise to protect the installations from vandalism.
We appreciate what the government is doing for us.
I would like to pledge to all the agents that are involved in this mini-grid that we will never joke with what we have seen.
And we will continue to appreciate you that a dream has now become a reality.
The Rural Electrification Agency and other stakeholders reaffirm commitment to providing energy to serve and unserved communities across the country.
The e-heart stands to address every part of every sector in the communities in Nigeria.
This project will benefit in the area over 12,000 people, and I think with this example, more communities will now believe that renewable energies as way for energy transition is walkable.
For these communities, it is just a pilot scheme, and I'm sure gradually we're going to spread to all of these communities. For us, we're asking them, let vandals be very far from this.
The Interconnected Mini-Grid Accelerated Scheme project is being executed by the Rural Electrification Agency with the aim of providing affordable electricity to rural communities, and the project has been inaugurated in 7 communities across Plateau, Niger, and Cross River States. Ode Alenyo, NTA News.
The governing All Progressives Congress, APC, has inaugurated the screening and appeal committees ahead of the party's Anambra governorship primary election slated for April 5th, 2025. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that 7 aspirants are scheduled for the exercise, which commenced Friday this week.
The screening committee comprises 7 members to be headed by the former governor of Katsina State, Ibrahim Shehu Shema, a secretary and other 6 members, while the appeal committee is made up of 5 members.
All qualified, we have confidence in you. You will do justice to what you are assigned to do. This is to ensure that we don't leave some gaps so that we don't face some litigations either within the party or outside the party.
The screening committee is already activated to commence its functions as credentials of all aspirants are submitted for the perusal, assessment and clearance of all the governorship offices.
Being now the largest party in this country, I have no doubt in my mind that the candidates being put forward for this election are not only competent and capable to compete against other candidates, but are quite capable of bringing us victory back after these elections.
Earlier on, a betting committee has been set up under the legal advisor. They have vetted all of them and have submitted their report to us that they have found them worthy for contesting the primary election.
Meanwhile, the appeal committee is to entertain complaints that may arise from the screening committee's assignment, which ends in 2 days' time, for the outcome that will produce the party's standard bearer. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
A significant step has been taken to boost the Safe School initiative with the launch of the School Protection Squad. The squad is designed to provide rapid response to security threats in schools nationwide. At the launch in Jigawa State, Inspector General of Police Kayode Gbetekun stressed the importance of collaboration and support from all stakeholders to achieve the goals of the initiative. Governor Umar Namadi reaffirmed his administration's commitment to support security efforts in the state. Awal Mohammed reports.
The Inspector General of Police Kayode Okpetokum, represented at the event, highlighted that education is the foundation of meaningful development, noting that painful experience of attacks on schools the country witnessed necessitated a comprehensive and inclusive approach to securing educational institutions.
As part of this initiative, training programs will be instituted for educators, administrators, and security personnel who will in turn leverage on the acquired skill to recognize and respond to security threats.
Governor Umar Namadi praised the Nigerian police for the initiative, stating that his administration had already established a safe school rapid response center to address security concerns.
Over 342 million naira was expended on the establishment of this center, which covers renovation and furnishing of the structures housed in the center, provision of all requisite security gadgets and surveillance equipment, ICT equipment, 2 Toyota Hilux, and 4 motorcycles.
With this initiative, stakeholders at the event are optimistic that schools in Jigawa and across Nigeria will be safer, fostering an environment conducive for learning and development. In Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
Wukari, the traditional headquarters of the Jukun Kingdom, came alive as the senator representing Taraba South Senatorial District asked the National Assembly, David Jimkuta, doled out empowerment items worth over 2 billion naira to his constituents towards self-reliance. This was after his Thanksgiving church service and his political godfather's 60th birthday anniversary celebration held in Wukari. Godwin Inaligu tells us more.
Determined to match his words with action, Senator David Jimkuta donated empowerment items worth 2 billion naira. Available empowerment items distributed to his constituents include cars, autobikes and tricycles, sewing machines and refrigerators, amongst others.
I have done a lot of motions and I have written some of our requests for our people directly to the president. And this empowerment program would have given me the opportunity again to bring the National Assembly here. This is an empowerment for people to ease their movement, both in terms of moving their farm produce and to go about doing their normal businesses hitch-free.
David Sabukente, among other beneficiaries of the empowerment program, appreciated the lawmaker for giving back to the society while appealing to other politicians in the state to emulate him.
I am overwhelmed by what I have seen. Even though the senator is very close to me, I will tell you I didn't know the quantity of goods we were expecting. But with what I have seen today, I am more hopeful and very happy.
I got a car from the distinguished senator representing Taraba South, and I'm very excited about it.
I'm happy for the gift, and may God bless him.
The occasion drew dignitaries from across the country and beyond. Highlight of the occasion was a gala night organized to celebrate the day. From Wukari, Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
Amid growing uncertainties in the global energy market threatened by increasing tariffs, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning Abubakar Atiku Bagudu says the federal government will consider funding from the capital markets, among other sources, for the 2025 budget. This was at his investiture as a fellow of the Capital Market Academics of Nigeria in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
Prices are set to close the week with a 4% weekly decline as uncertainty surrounding U.S. tariff policies raise concern over the demand growth, while major producers prepare to increase output. This is a concern for the Nigerian government as current oil benchmark is selling below $70 per barrel at a time the 2025 budget is based on crude oil price benchmark of $75 per barrel, with an expected oil production of 2.06 million barrels per day. This is in addition to a revenue target of 36.35 trillion naira, representing a 56% coming from oil sales. Hence, the need to explore other revenue sources to fund growth, says the Minister of Budget.
To have capital, we need to mobilize it. We need to convince our citizenry, because like I said, even if you get people with capital out there and you don't have vehicles that can absorb it, we need to orient our society that what tax revenue cannot fund, capital market can fund.
In terms of budget preparation, can also be organizing a symposium. You can have a budget symposium annually, shortly before the presentation of the MTEC. That budget symposium can be with the academic.
President of the Capital Market Academics of Nigeria, Professor Uche Uwaleke, alongside the leadership conferred on the Minister, Fellowship of the Capital Market Academics. He now joins the think tank of Nigeria's economy and is expected to deliver an inaugural lecture soon. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And here is Benny with other business-related news. You're on, Benny.
Thank you, Lami. Now it's all about the women, and the Securities and Exchange Commission is partnering the Ministry of Women Affairs to educate women on how to raise money, grow and multiply investments, particularly in the capital market. This is as the Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman, commit to putting money in the hands of Nigerian women to grow the economy. Part of activities to mark the International Women's Day was a lecture and experience sharing and success tips in business and ways to actualizing financial inclusion.
One promise I made to Her Excellency the First Lady is I will put money in the hands of women. Because that was all she asked for. What do you want me to do? She said, go and put money in the hands of women. Because when women are okay, the family unit would work stronger. And then the men, they have the right support. So they can be able to grow the way they would like to grow. And guess what? We end up with a more secure and a more prosperous country.
Every woman that has 10 naira makes sure she multiplies that 10 naira to 50 naira. That is the nature of the woman. And it has been for too long, the women have been neglected, not to thinking about their importance.
Give a woman a seed, she will germinate a fruit. If you give her a house, she will build a home. So today, what we are about to give you is the seed to prosperity. You will prosper.
And now talking about prosperity, let's look at the capital market where the Nigerian equities market closed Friday, though on a bearish note, reversing the previous session's gain on sell pressure in Transcap among other stocks as investors lost 151.62 billion naira with market capitalization closing at 66.72 trillion naira. Zenith Bank was the most traded stock by volume and value with 42.15 million units traded with a value of 2.02 billion naira. And looking at the table here, Tunisia is also on the red, where the Tunisia Tune Index depreciated by 0.76% to close at 10,658.33 basis points. The gain was for South Africa, where the South Africa top 40 appreciated by 0.28%, adding 229.45 basis points to end at 81,180.44 basis points. Well, this is it on business at this time. The news continues, but at this point, we join our legal center for more news.
Benny, and welcome to Lagos. ECOWAS female legislators, also known as ECOFEPA, are setting agenda for inclusion of more women in governance and presented draft articles that will ensure equity in representation of women in leadership and decision-making positions. This and the need to deepen partnership with African First Ladies are part of key points at the deliberations of the ECOWAS female parliamentarians. Joel Ubola reports.
Established in year 2003 and formally inaugurated on the 4th of March 2010, ECOFEPA has been vocal on issues concerning women and the girl child. The meeting of female ECOWAS legislators, which is part of the extraordinary session of the ECOWAS Parliament, is to strengthen efforts towards creating a region devoid of exclusion, oppression, injustice and discrimination against women and girls. The parliamentarians and ECOWAS officials considered the draft constitution clause by clause with suggestions on grey areas in the articles under scrutiny.
I want to suggest that the third president's slot should be left for a member, not an associate member.
Article 8, which dwelt on the objective of ECOFEPA, will be reviewed in May this year, while issues of funding were also addressed.
We have included activities, fundraising, and donations, grants, and what that can help us. So we can put that, we can start with fundraising so that we can find monies to, to build our budget. And also we have to meet with our first ladies. For us in Sierra Leone, initially we are 12, and now we have 30% of female representation in my country, and we have gender policy, and all the institutions, we have gender decks.
The activity plan of the body for year 2025 was also ratified by the parliamentarians, while other salient reforms will be extensively discussed at the next extraordinary session of ECOWAS. In Lagos, Joel Bukwola, NTA News.
Still talking women, women have been called upon to redouble efforts, work assiduously and accelerate actions to bridge the gap in gender inequality in Nigeria. Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Zenith Bank PLC, Adora Omeoji, made the call at a seminar organized by one of Nigeria's largest and leading financial institutions, Zenith Bank, in commemoration of 2025 International Women's Day in Lagos. Diana Ajale completes the report.
Data by the United Nations shows that globally, 1 in every 10 women is living in extreme poverty, while reports by the International Monetary Fund indicates that in Nigeria, 49.3% of the general population, comprising women, account for 70% of the country's extremely poor population. This one-day seminar by Zenith Bank PLC therefore aims to empower women, prepare their minds to strive towards attaining greater heights in their various endeavors.
When women rise, entire societies are lifted. Empowered women elevate their families, communities, and nations. And together we have the power to drive transformative change. And winning on all fronts is to identify what my front is.
Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Zenith Bank PLC, Adora Umeji, encouraged participants and women in general to rise up, accelerate, and make progress in all ramifications.
Every one of us can champion this change by supporting and encouraging one another to be more resilient, disciplined, and focused, and to achieve success. This is no limit to anything you can achieve as a woman.
Adora also highlighted some of the bank's available laudable initiatives for women empowerment.
The Zenith SME Grow My Business initiative is driving the growth of several women-owned businesses. Zenith Bank has been the sole sponsor of Nigerian female basketball for the past 16 years.
Accelerate Action is the theme of the 2025 International Women's Day celebration. Zenith Bank PLC seminar has as its unique theme, Winning on All Fronts. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos. The news will continue after the break.
Ritual starts here, surrounded by life-made furniture. From my wardrobe to my bed, Life-Made Furniture's whole house customization designs every piece to perfection. I love that in Lagos, Port Harcourt, Abuja, Ibadan, and Kano, there's Life-Made Furniture.
For a whole house customization and furniture projects, call 081 2000 6000 or visit elifemade.com. Life-Made, your life made forever.
Sympathizers, Well, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has appointed 6 new chief medical directors to head federal government-owned hospitals across Nigeria. The appointees will oversee hospitals in Akure, Gombe, Azare, Lafia, Maiduguri, and Kafanchan. They are Federal Teaching Hospital, Akure, Professor Olusegun Sylvester Ojo, a seasoned medical professional and former pioneer chief medical director of the Ondo State Specialist Hospital. Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe, Professor Yusuf Mohammed Abdullahi, reappointed for a second term due to his outstanding performance. Federal Teaching Hospital Azari, Dr. Dauda Abubakar Katagum, confirmed as the substantive CMD after serving as acting CMD. Federal Teaching Hospital Lafia, Dr. Ikram Hassan, a consultant physician and former medical director of the Dalhatu Ibrahim Arab Specialist Hospital. National Orthopedic Hospital Maiduguri, Dr. Ali Mohammed Ramat, a renowned consultant orthopedic and spine surgeon. Federal Medical Center Kafanchan, Dr. Haruna Abubakar Shehu, a consultant family physician. These appointments are for 4 years, effective from their respective dates of assumption of office. President Tinubu urges the new CMDs to maintain high standards of professionalism, accountability, and service delivery. Now, in solidarity with the Muslim faith in the Ramadan, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, observed the breaking of the fast with officers and soldiers at the defense headquarters in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports.
Ramadan fast is an annual spiritual experience for Muslims and a moment to get closer to Allah by showing kindness to the less privileged and vulnerable groups. In demonstration of the spirit of love, compassion and unity, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, observed iftar with officers and soldiers at the defense headquarters in Abuja. General Christopher Musa enjoined Nigerians to see the period as a moment of moral and spiritual rekindling.
For me, this is how we're supposed to be living in Nigeria. Anybody looking at us will not know who is a Christian, who is a Muslim. And God has a purpose for putting us together. And it is not to destroy ourselves, but to build ourselves up. And we need to continue to stay together, to work together, to love one another. That's the only way we can make this country grow.
By showing kindness to the less privileged.
In a lecture, the Chief Imam of the Defense Headquarters Mosque described Ramadan as a period of self-denial to access more Allah's blessings and favor.
Allah the Almighty says in the glorious Quran, "O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you, as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may learn self-restraint." It is in line with this that the Chief of the Defense Staff has graciously considered it necessary for us to sit together and share in the blessings of breaking fast. This is a true reflection of solidarity, camaraderie, which galvanizes a sense of duty, unity, and love.
Officers also described the symbolic breaking of fast with the Chief of Defense Staff as a true reflection of love and motivation. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Jigawa State Governor Umar Namadi has called for action to harness the Northwest sub-region's vast human and economic potentials. He urged the newly established Northwest Development Commission to change the narrative in the zone and drive growth and development. Mohammed Musa Askira brings us the details.
This appeal underscores the governor's commitments to unlocking the region's potential and improving the lives of its citizens. Led by the Commission's chairman, Lawan Samala Abdullahi, the visit aimed to unite state governance and create a unified front for the sub-region's development. Governor Namadi emphasized the need for a baseline survey to identify each member state's comparative advantages, cultivate a culture of synergy, and pinpoint areas for collaborative efforts. He stressed that the Northwest geopolitical zone, despite being the largest and most populous in Nigeria, faces numerous challenges that must be addressed through the Commission.
Be able to develop and promote infrastructure, promote development, and have a synergy to work together and bring Northwest to where it's supposed to be.
On our board, there is a representative from your state that has given us a lot of insight and potentials of the states and the needed areas to collaborate, particularly when it comes to agriculture and agro-allied industries. So much, and the rail lines that I think will connect the zone to other part of the zone.
The governor urged the commissioned to embody integrity, self-worth and patriotism, viewing themselves as a catalyst for development rather than merely a provider of palliative. He appealed to Chairman Abdullahi and his members to work tirelessly to transform the zone's status from being perceived as poor and underdeveloped. This call to action underscores the Commission's critical role in driving growth and prosperity in the Northwest sub-region. From Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTN News.
We take another set of messages. More stories ahead. Do stay.
Let's talk sports on Network News tonight as Casino United moved to 13th on the Nigeria Premier Football League standings this evening after claiming a slim 1-0 win over Shooting Stars in their matchday 28th clash. 3 matches are on offer on Saturday, with leaders Remo Stars playing away to Bendel Insurance, while strugglers Lobby Stars are at home to Ikorodu City. And of course, on Sunday, Canopilas play away to Kwara United, and Yimba will entertain El Kanemi Warriors, while reigning champions Enugu Rangers and Akwa United have scores to settle. And of course, straight to our story of the day, where Equatorial Guinea's Emilio Nsue has been officially cleared by FIFA to play for the country more than a decade after this former Spain international made his senior debut for the African nation. There was widespread surprise in May last year when FIFA handed the 35-year-old a 6-month ban, saying he had never received clearance to formalize his switch from Spain. That does it on sports. Let's now continue with the news.
Thank you, Bade. President Bola Tinubu condoles with the family, friends and associates of Doyin Okupe, a medical doctor, politician, communicator and strategist who played a significant role in Nigeria's political landscape. Okupe served as President Goodluck Jonathan's senior special assistant on public affairs and President Olusegun Obasanjo's special assistant on media. President Tinubu recalls Dr. Okupe as a bold and articulate advocate for national development, expressing deep sorrow over his passing at a time when his wealth of experience and insight were still valuable to the nation. The president also commiserates with the government and people of Ogun State, particularly the Peru Rema community, who have lost an esteemed son and leader. That's it on Network News for today. We thank you for being a part of it. Do have a good weekend. I am Lami Ali.